Hey guys, my name is Mike, and this is Math Tutoring with Mike. Hey, before we jump into our video, there are just a few things that I would like to review with you. The first thing is that I want to implore that at the end of this video, by the time that you reach the end of this video, I want to make sure that you understand the principles that we went over today in this video. So if you have to stop the video at any point in time, that you're confused, or if you have to rewind, I really want to suggest that you do that. The second thing is that after you've reached the end of this video, that you actually go back and try solving the example problems on your own. Doing this, I find, is very important with cementing the theories and cementing the understanding, that you actually understand what was reviewed. So, thirdly, chances are you came to this video with a specific problem that you had. If at the end of this video you realize that I have not addressed the specific problem that you are looking to solve, I invite you to leave me a comment or shoot me an email with your specific problem or specific question. And you have my word, I'll do my best to either preparing another video or reaching out to you personally how to solve that particular problem. Anyway guys, so on to our video. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to simplify fractions to the lowest terms. And by that we mean, for example, if we see a fraction that says 12 over 24, how do we know, or what procedure can we follow to simplify it to 1/2? Many times we see that when we add fractions or subtract fractions, or multiply or even divide, for example, we see that that a lot of times that the answer can come out to a fraction that's very large, like so. And oftentimes we are asked or required by the problem or by our teacher to simplify to the lowest expression or lowest term. So today we're going to just take a look at what procedure can we follow to simplify from an expression like this to an expression like this, where it's the lowest terms. We're going to be using what's called the greatest common factor. And actually, I made a video on how to find the greatest common factor, but we're going to recap, or we're going to review it in our video today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use that procedure of the greatest common factor. So let's just throw a problem up there. So let's just say, for example, that we're adding two fractions, and we see that the answer is just, for example, we're just going to throw a term. See that the answer is 6 over 36, for example. Okay, how do we find, or how do we go about converting this to its lowest term, or how do we go about simplifying to a lower expression? So in order to do that, we use the approach of a greatest common factor. Okay, so what we do is we find the factor for both the numerator, and we find the factors of the denominator, and then we get to see, we can find what's common among those factors, and then we choose the greatest common ones. And then from there, I'll show you the next step. So let's do that. Let's find the factors of 6, which is 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and that's it. Okay, and then let's look at the factors for 36. And just to recap, factors are two numbers that multiply to give you the product. So two numbers, when multiplied together, will give you a desired number. So in this instance, it would be 6. So what two numbers when multiplied together will give you 6? So we found that those two numbers here are 1 and 6. 1 times 6 is equal to 6, and then 2 times 3 is equal to 6, okay? So let's look at now factors for 36. We got 1 times 36. We have 2 times 18. We have 3 times 12. What else can go into that? Can 4? Can 4 go into 36? Let's see. 4 goes into 36. 4 8s are 32. 4 9s are 36. Yes? 4 9s are 36. Can 6 go into 36? Sure can. 6 times 6 is equal to 36. And I believe that's it. I believe those are the factors. 8 times, let's just verify. 7 can go into it. 8, 4 8 are 32, 4, 5 8 are 40. So yeah, so these are all the factors. So now we're going to highlight the common factors, and we can circle them just to easy identify. So what's common between the 6 factors and the 36? We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we also have 6. So there's no other factors that are common in both the 6 and the 36. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 6. Okay, now out of all of these factors, now we identify the greatest common factor as the highest number, which would be 6 in this case. Okay, so that's it. Now the greatest common factor of both the 6 and the 36 is 6. So now here's what we do with that 6. Okay, I'm changing to a new screen because I want to show you what we do after that. Okay, so once again, our problem is 6 over 36, and we found that the greatest common factor is 6. Okay, so here's what we do. Now we ask the question. We say that this 6, or maybe I want to do it here. We say that this 6 divided by the greatest common factor that we found, which is equal to 6, okay? So we say that 6 divided by the greatest common factor of 6. 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1, okay? And similarly, we say that now that we take the denominator number and we say 36 divided by the greatest common factor that we found is 6. Okay, I just want to show you where that number comes from, 6. 36 divided by 6 is equal to 6. So we just found out now how to simplify. So 6 over 36, when simplified, will equal to 1 over 6. And this is our final answer. Okay, so this is how we simplify fractions to the lowest terms. Let's take another example, shall we? I believe more examples we see, the more it'll help us in our problems. Okay, and just to recap, usually we need to simplify after we've added fractions together, subtracted fractions together, or just simply when the question asks us, simplify a fraction to its lowest term. Okay, so let's just say we see a question, simplify, and simplify, why don't we say 7 over 9 to its lowest terms. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we find the greatest common factor of 7, and we find the greatest common factor of 9. Okay, greatest common factor of 7 is 1 times 7, and there's no other number that can our two numbers when multiplied together can give you 7. Okay, so now we find the greatest common factor of 9. So all the factors of 9, we we find the factors of 9, not the greatest common factor, excuse me. So let me reiterate again. We find the factors of 7, and we find all the factors of 9. So the factors of 7 is just 1 times 7, okay? So the factors of 9 is 1 times 9, which is equal to 9. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. And that's it. Okay, so we see that the factors of 7 is 1 and 7. And the factors of 9 is 1, 3, and 9. So when now we circle, we want to identify what's common, what's a common factor between between 7 and 9. Well, we see the only common factor is really 1. So, but really and truly, when we look at this procedure, we want to identify identify numbers that that is not 1. Okay, so any other number that is not 1. So really and truly, when we look at the factors, there are no other factors. There are no other factors between 7 and 9. So 7 and 9 is actually written in its lowest expression. Okay, I'm glad I chose this example just to show you that there are some times where a fraction cannot be simplified to its lowest terms, and this is a great example. Let me just do one more example where we can simplify that can be simplified to its lowest term. So let's just say we want to simplify. How about 6 over 10? Okay, simplify 6 over 10 to lowest term. Okay, so first step, we want to find all the factors of 6 and 10. Okay, so we say all the factors of 6 and 10. 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and that's it. So all the factors of 6 is 1, 2, 3, and 6. Similarly, let's find all the factors of 10. So it's 1 times 10, 2 times 5. And that's really it. No other factors, correct? So the factors of 10, 1, 2, 5, and 10. Now, if we look at all the factors of 6, and we look at all the factors of 10, we identify now what's common between the 6 and the 10. And we circle in blue that the thing that's common and is 1 and the 2. No other items that's common. Okay? And what's greatest among those now, the greatest common factor that we see here now is actually going to be the 2. 2 is the highest number that's common between both. Okay, so now what do we do with that 2 now is now we want to use it to simplify our fractions. So we say 6 over 10. And so we say 6 divided by our greatest common factor. And I don't want to confuse it. Let me just do it on the next line, okay? So we say 6 divided by the greatest common factor, which is 2, is equal to 3. And in the same way, we want to look at 10. 10 divided by the greatest common factor, which is 2, is equal to 5. So 6 tenths, when simplified, is going to equal 3/5. And this is our answer here and how we simplify. So I hope that helps, guys. I hope that shows how to simplify fractions to its lowest terms. And we just simply use what's called the greatest common factor. Once we find the greatest common factor, we then divide both the numerator and the denominator by that greatest common factor that we saw here. Hope that helps, guys. So you've made it to the end of the video. Good deal. I really hope that you understood what was reviewed today. Like I said earlier on in the video, I really think it's a good idea that you go back and try to solve the example problems on your own. That way you can prove to yourself and you can help assure that you actually understand the problems. Well, until next time, with another tutoring session, another math tutoring session with Mike. See you guys.